Yeah, it was wild. Definitely a blast of a start to the year.
Yeah, definitely a blast. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not even gonna look at it like paranoid or
No, I'm
anything.
not
Like,
either. I mean, honestly, like probably the most alive I've felt in a long time.
well, I guess I've succumbed to putting attention-grabbing intros at the beginning of the podcast. We'll see. We'll see if I'll keep up with this. To keep up with the other trendy podcasts that put the best part of the podcast in the beginning, to make sure that you're invested. See, is this the best that this podcast is gonna have? Well, let me get that part first. I wanna make sure that I'm committed to listening to these dorks talk. Speaking of dorks, I've got my partner Cara on today, and we're just processing the holiday season, mostly New Year's. There's a few fiascos that we get into talking about, and didn't talk too much about the Christmas lead up, but yeah, it was pretty anxiety ridden for me, I'm not gonna lie. And most of the people that I've talked to have had somewhat similar situations, so hope you had a lovely Christmas, holiday season, whatever holiday you're celebrating. I think in the future I'm gonna be a solstice guy. I think I'm gonna skip out on the Christmas and go headfirst into the solstice. And instead of New Year's, I'm thinking equinox. It just feels more in line with the natural harmony of the seasons, those peaks and valleys of the seasons. Yeah, I don't know. I just it's been accumulating for the last few years. Christmas in adulthood is just a very different flavor than Christmas as a child was. And it's not like the magic of Christmas is gone, I don't believe in Santa anymore type of thing. It's like, it just feels like harvest time. It feels like capitalist harvest. Spend your savings at the end of the year to prove to your loved ones how much you care about them. And I'm not downplaying the beauty and fun of Christmas. It's fun to give and receive gifts, to think about people, and really, the thoughtfulness that goes into gift giving is a beautiful thing when it occurs naturally. And it's just the obligation and pressure that really got to me this year. And yeah, so I could do better about communicating that to my family and loved ones, and set ourselves up to have a chill, stress-free holiday, which is really, I feel, what would be most appreciated and beneficial to the event. We just want to hang out and be in each other's presence, and those who want to give gifts, give gifts. There's what, 5 love languages or whatever. I've really been thinking about that lately and wanting to clarify what love language is my closest, family and friends, what their love languages are. For me, I think my top love languages are like physical affection and quality time, just literally sharing presence with people. So for some people it's gift giving, and that's a beautiful thing too. Anyway, so yeah, Cara and I talk about some fiascos that happened this holiday season, and we'll get to that. One thing that we were talking about New Year's Day that I wanted to throw in the intro was this idea that, to quote a Tame Impala song, nothing that's happened so far has been anything that we can control. And I'm kind of using this as a mantra lately to relieve any doubt or regret that I'm tempted to hold for how I've acted in life so far. I could have taken that path. I could have done this better. I could have wasted less time, all that self-loathing material that comes and goes. And, more so to just arrive in this moment almost as if this is the opening scene to the movie of your life. You don't pick your backstory, but you can choose whether or not to echo the hero's call to answer it and to step into the unknown and to make conscious decisions and find out, and part of that is relieving this crippling fear of failure that I think a lot of us hold, and that keeps a lot of us in this analysis paralysis. And, just make a decision and mess it up and learn from it and make more decisions and make bigger messes and clean them up and learn in the process, But if we don't take action, then we're just going to set ourselves up for regret and for stagnation. And, I've experienced my fair share of that. And so now I'm just trying to ease into taking more creative and conscious action. So I thought that was something worth sharing. Another thing that we were talking about yesterday, after making the podcast, we just made that podcast yesterday, this podcast, is the idea that I got from the internet, like many ideas that I get these days. I used to have original thoughts. Now my original thoughts are echoed through the internet chamber. The idea of, or practice of, it's called the 2-minute rule. If there's anything that you're looking at, you're thinking about that you can do in less than 2 minutes, just go ahead and do it. Just such a practical way of combating procrastination, So we did that a bunch yesterday, and that was fulfilling to practice that skill a little bit, strengthen that muscle of like, okay, I would normally just ignore this. I would normally just, set this here. I'll deal with it later. Why don't I just take care of it right now? It's only going to take a couple minutes. Just do it. And then that momentum really builds. And then you find yourself doing more than you even planned to do, because it actually feels good to achieve things and to be productive and whatever. So anyway, there's a few shares before we get into it. Let's take a little breather. I'm going to do a little guided meditation here, and then we'll listen to Cara and I blab on about things and stuff. So let's just take a moment to come back into our bodies, back to center. You can close your eyes if you feel so called, and it's safe to do so if you're not driving or chopping vegetables or whatnots, and just bring your attention back to the breath. By using something like this natural subconscious activity of breathing as a attention anchor, we can begin to notice the stillness that is holding all of this motion and activity that is our personalities, our egos, our human experience. Just noticing the inhale, feeling the relief of an exhale. Just your natural patterns, maybe deepening the inhale if you feel inspired to do so. And again, simply noticing that peaceful stillness and presence that's holding all that is. All that's arising and falling in and out of this all-encompassing, vast, yet visceral and immediate present moment. And from this level of presence, let's continue our days in mindfulness, allowing what we hear to resonate, some truth, some remembrance, and to echo that forward in our lives. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening. Yeah. So how's 2022? How was 2022 for you overall with those thoughts in mind?
It's hard to even remember.
I know.
Yeah. Like, what did we even do this year?
It's like, that's what I'm saying. I really feel like time accelerated in 2020. And it feels like we've been in this, like, it's just the decade of the 20s, I guess. The 2020s is its own vibe. You know, there was before 2020, and then there's what we're in now.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to some people at the party on Saturday night. They're talking about like going through their pictures and like reflecting on like their 2022 through their pictures and realizing how much they actually did. Yeah. Like, damn, I'm so bad about taking pictures. Yeah. I have very few. So like I don't even have any thing to look back on and be like, oh man, I actually did do a lot. I don't know.
I appreciated that Mar wanted to get a little group photo at the end of the night. That is nice. That was nice. And it turned out nice.
Yeah, did.
A couple of them did. A couple of them were a little silly dealing with these billies. But yeah, it's like I used to do that when I was a kid, when I was in junior high and stuff like that, before phones, you know, cell phones with camera phones were, you know, normal. And I remember like the first Dream Theater concert I went to, I was on my camera, my digital camera, like a lot of the time. I was like documenting it, and I tried to put together this
like a montage sort of thing.
Yeah. Or more like a full ass movie. It wasn't like a short 5-minute montage. It was like a 40-minute long clips of the songs. And I like replaced some of the audio. Actually, I think I replaced all the audio. That's what the project was.
Oh.
Because back then, cameras didn't have the mics.
Right.
The way iPhones and whatever else does now, you know. So it's just, you know, nothing. Completely distorted. So I would replace the audio with live takes that, you know, live albums that were released and stuff that the band had put out. Yeah. That was the nerdiest thing.
It's adorable.
In iMovie, and I'm setting up all these like segues.
I bet your dad has a copy of that somewhere.
I don't even know. I mean, I'm sure I told him about it, but I never finished it.
Oh, okay.
I had a few unfinished iMovie projects, but anyway. No, we honestly did a lot of cool stuff in 2022. I mean, we had a couple of nice campouts. Yeah. I feel like I had some breakthrough moments. You know, the camp out in Tennessee with the alien school field trip. Alien school field trip. Yeah. That was a really great time. That was a breakthrough for me for sure. And did a few fun festivals. I feel like I deepened friendships and relationships, and I feel good about that. Clarified music a little bit more, so what I want to get into, and Ryan and I have been becoming closer and strengthening our musical chemistry and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, it's hard to say what happens in a year. It's like the seasons just, I hate to sound like an old man, but you know, the years are shorter.
It does feel really like that.
Yeah. But what else did we get into last year? What are your reflections? Anything come to mind?
I feel like I've been solidifying my own routines a little bit, like trying to make myself not feel so overwhelmed inside the house, you know, like getting better about making sure the dishes are done and stuff's picked up. I mean, it still gets a little overwhelming sometimes, but I think I've set up better, at least mental routines for myself.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah. I feel like this year's been really low key. 2022 was really low key.
Yeah, it was like, it had those high moments that I briefly skimmed past. Now she's full on laying.
She's full on, like, you can see her fur coming through it.
through the base of the stand.
Yeah.
Oh, Belle's the best.
Bella's the best part of 2022.
She's the best part of the house.
Yeah.
Like,
People come to see Bella. They don't come to see us.
yeah. I don't know. It had its challenges. I feel like the last week had a few moments that threw us into like survival mode, which is a beneficial mode for humans. You know, sometimes it takes a visceral perceived threat or sense of urgency to kick us into how we're going to show up in our fullness and how we're going to show up, and are we going to fight this off and survive? Are we going to flee and survive? Or are we just going to curl up, freeze, find out?
Yeah.
You know? It's pretty much the options. And I feel like I'm frozen in a lot of ways in my life, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what 2022 really did have a lot of cushioning between those like breakthrough moments, just cushioning of like depression, really.
Right.
I mean, not like a severe, like, you know, I mean, obviously there's the valleys and stuff where stuff gets dark, but that's not my usual operation. My usual operation is just like lack of motivation, just spending too much time online, not enough time talking to my friends and being in community and stuff like that, you know, which, like I said, there has been a good amount of that. Thankfully, it has been more balanced than it's been in the past. But yeah, I mean, our last podcast we made together, we're talking about doing the spring reset that we just started.
Yeah.
And didn't get very far.
I don't even remember what it was.
I'll tell you what it was right now.
Okay.
Well, I couldn't stay off the caffeine, which is really surprising because I've done no caffeine for 3-month spurts before, and that's been fine. But this time, I was just like, day 8, I'm caving.
So then was it just a spiral after that? Okay.
I'll tell you what happened. It was, when was that? That was like early summer, or was it still spring? Were we
It
going
was
to
like May.
Pyro or Haze? It was on the way to one of the festivals. No, it was on the way to Sage Valley. You remember going to Sage Valley?
I remember going to Sage Valley. What happened on the way to Sage Valley?
We decided that we weren't going to be that rigid with like not doing caffeine and like the substance portion of, you know, like fasting on whatever those substance things.
Right.
You know, caffeine,
We
alcohol.
did. We decided we weren't going to be so rigid.
Yeah. And we were like, you know what? We're trying to do too much.
Yeah, that's
and it was
true.
fair. It's just it
was too
continued
much.
just to
Yeah.
spiral out of motivation.
Yeah.
But initially, I felt good about that decision. Yes, part of it was that I was, I guess, going through caffeine withdrawal. I mean, it didn't get to the point of where it felt like physically uncomfortable, as far as I can remember. It just, I don't know. I guess I use it as like a energetic crutch. And a lot of times, it doesn't even really give me energy. It just like, it's like the idea of it, you know? Okay, I'm going to make some coffee and then I'm going to do some stuff.
It's a ritual. Yeah.
So,
Which
anyway,
isn't negative.
you can replace that.
Yeah. You can replace that or,
with another ritual.
you know, just really be, I mean, I guess there is like a need to get off of caffeine.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, there's, right.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what, you know, a lot of that was centered around. And we're doing Dry Till July 2023.
Till July.
So that is also majorly influenced by, you know, mild health condition that I really could be nipping in the bud by adopting a anti-inflammatory lifestyle. And I've just been ignoring it again since 2020.
Right.
And I would like to stop ignoring it and get on my shit and get the body in shape because my body's spoken to me, is speaking to me. Thankfully, it's no longer a whisper, but it's not a shout either. But it's, you know, it is speaking.
It's a constant nudge.
Yeah. Yeah. That maintain ignorance of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's part of it.
Totally.
I mean, doing dry till July, like, yeah, we drank a bit in December. I did a lot more so than the rest of the year. But the rest of the year, I was like, I drank at shows. That was really about it.
Right.
And like hanging out with the family. Did we go on vacation? We did. Well, I guess I'm just thinking of going to North Carolina.
Yeah. I don't think we did any trips with your family.
Yeah, you're right. But anyway, so that's not a hard one for us to give up, but we've never gone 6 months.
No, I think I've gone 2 months.
Yeah, I feel like I've gone 3. Yeah. And I didn't even really like drinking before coming back to Cincinnati after college. It's like in college, there were like parties, experiencing, drinking a lot, like party binge drinking, and like any college student finding out what your boundaries are, where your threshold gonna be. And that just kind of left, like, we probably talked about this the last time we talked about it. But I was just like, yeah, it's not as cool as weed. Straight up. Like, I enjoy mind-altering social experiences. So I do value it in that way. It's just, we also know that's experientially and scientifically that alcohol is one of the most physically harmful substances that you can do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I was feeling super grateful yesterday, waking up not hungover and like being able to like start the day. When I woke up, not like feeling like I was gonna die. Yeah.
Like, I rarely drank enough to actually feel like a sick hangover, but there's always some sort of literal hangover.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And the way that the body responds to alcohol being in the system when it first gets in there is it pumps the body full of, stress hormones to stay in equilibrium, right? Because what is it combating? I guess it's the sedative properties of alcohol that
makes sense.
It's shutting you down, sort of. So you just prop yourself up with these stimulants, the natural hormonal stimulants, cortisol and...
So what we like is actually our body's response to the poison.
Maybe it's like the adrenaline and stuff. It's like adrenaline and cortisol and stuff, whatever other stress hormones there are. The fight or flight type of thing.
Yeah.
I've never thought about it quite like that, but yeah.
That's interesting.
So that's why a lot of times we end up feeling anxious the next day or in the hangover period, is because all of that's still in your bloodstream and it needs to be flushed out. Cortisol and stress hormones that are going to make you still feel that fight or flight anxiety and urgency,
You're right.
And then there's just the physical downness,
Yeah.
It's
I feel
grounding,
that more
but
than,
it's like, how much do you want to ground yourself while you're alive? I like to be alert in my waking moments.
Yeah.
Which is why I like to drink coffee.
Fair enough.
But anyway, so we're going to spend the rest of winter really clarifying what the next season's going to look like. And I do want to do a reset. Like, I think that's probably in the cards.
Yeah.
Come spring.
I think that we should spend the winter more reflecting and setting up our space to be able to have the space to reset our...
Right, exactly.
Because, we were trying to do that at the same time as our reset last year, like cleaning the house and, cleaning out our bodies.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
And so we just did nothing because it was too much.
Yeah. That's, you're bringing me back to the point we were making as to why we stopped was, that conversation down to Sage Valley. We were like, we're trying to do too much. Exactly what you just said, that we're trying to clean the external and the internal.
Yeah.
And like, why don't we chill on the internal while we do the external? but we just didn't get very far.
Right.
I mean, I did some decluttering upstairs, and
Yeah,
you
I
have
did
too.
Yeah, we've done a lot.
We did both declutter our own personal workspaces, but let's be honest, I mean, now it's even worse.
Yeah.
You know, because it's been ignored, and we just had a fiasco in the basement.
Right.
So the studios are out of commission right now. Guess we might as well tell that story.
Yeah.
So we were going to meet separately at your parents' house Saturday for Christmas Eve. And luckily I called you while I was doing a shift for my brother at this bakery, so to speak. And we decided that it would make more sense just to, because it had, you know,
with the snow and ice,
ice storm,
and cold.
Yeah, the roads weren't great even that day. So we're just like, it's not even worth driving 2 cars up there and back. We didn't know if it was going to get worse. So I get home. What time was it? Maybe 3:30,
something like that. Yeah.
And we're minutes from leaving the house, and walk in the kitchen. I'm like, what's that noise? I hear that. Okay, so backstory is that rainstorm happened, and that next day our cold water on the faucet was not working. Hot water was fine. So that was like a weird,
interesting,
like, I guess there is some freezing somewhere, but why is the hot water still working? I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah, I don't either.
Let's just put it this way. We don't know shit about fuck.
Right, exactly.
Anyways, so the cold water started working again Saturday.
Yes.
And you were all stoked about that.
Like a half hour before we were leaving the house.
Yeah, like before I even got home, it started working again. You went downstairs and whatever. So I was like, what's that noise? And you're like, because we did leave the faucet running at that point, like a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're like, is it just the faucet? I'm like, nah. Walk downstairs, like it sounded like we were doing laundry.
Yeah.
And the basin was filling up or whatever. I was like, definitely not that. Look down to the bottom of the steps of the basement. There's like 2 inches of water. What did I say?
You said, there's a bunch of water down here.
Is that all I said?
Something, yeah.
I feel like I yelled, flood, flood.
No, I think
like
you were just saying, water, water. We were dressed for Christmas Eve. Like, we had our Christmas Eve best on. Like, we
probably already had our shoes on. We're like, all right, we need to like.
Car was packed up. Like, we just had to put Bella in her carrier and take her outside.
We were
ready to go.
Leave.
Yeah.
And just had to, again, and that was one of those moments that just threw us into the survival mode.
Yeah.
You know, we both wanted to freak out, for sure. And you said something, and I was like, all right, this is the situation. How are we going to handle it? Yeah. It's just like we both just like did the things we needed to do.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, what shoes are we going to wear? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going down there barefoot. It was cold.
No,
it was still cold outside, and the water was obviously cold.
Yeah, and I was nervous because, like, I'd read about when I was trying to figure out what's going on with the pipe freezing and the water not working. Like, they're like, oh, if the pipe bursts and you have more than an inch of water in your basement, don't walk through it.
Oh,
like,
really?
You can get electrocuted.
You didn't happen to mention that.
I did mention that. I said we should turn the power off. But I mean, we would have to walk through water to turn the power off anyway. I
remember you saying that, but I was just like, well, we can't do this in the dark.
Yeah. But like once we got the door open, water started flowing out and we could get it
Luckily,
out. And everything
there were
was fine.
so many fortunate things about it. The fact that it was in the basement. It was in the basement room that had very little in it.
Yeah.
Including no carpet.
Unfinished
for the most part. Like, I'd had a couple drum items. Like, there was a couple things that were kind of scary. Like, oh shit, like that shouldn't be
getting wet,
right. You know, but it was very minimal and no damage to any of that stuff.
Right. Very fortunate.
Yeah. So that was one fortunate thing. The fact that it was in the basement that had the door to the outside, we were able to just shovel water out the door.
It's just like a river of water coming out the door, going through the ice and the snow. Like, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, we had like a tote lid that I was using.
Right.
There was a music stand at first I was using as a shovel. Eventually remembered that we do have a snow shovel, so we went and got that. But it was kind of a one-man job to get it out because there's one door.
Right.
You know? So
I pretended like I was
yeah,
helping.
it was kind of just me doing, like, I say we, but it was kind of me doing it, and Cara just like puddling a few things my way.
Yeah,
anyway,
on
we
the
got it
phone with
out.
Dad. Dad, what do we do?
He's like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. Well, no, he helped us.
No,
like,
yeah, he
a
was
little
really
bit.
instrumental in helping us.
It was moral support for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we got the water turned off, obviously. The other fortunate things were, so Christmas Day, I came back to switch out the dehumidifier and see if I could locate where the problem was. Did. It was very easy to find. It was very easy to fix.
Yeah.
It was an end cap, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to bore y'all with the finite details on all that, but got it done.
Yeah.
Got it done in a day, like half hour. I mean, I took breaks. Started, had breakfast, came back while your dad's probably like sitting by the phone, like waiting to hear that we got it done.
Right, because my dad was supposed to come and help us fix it, but it had snowed again that morning, and it was like no point in having him come out here if it was really.
Well, it wasn't just that, but
yeah.
we realized it was such an easy fix.
It was such an easy
to have
fix.
the shark bite that was an end cap and the right size.
Yeah, it was really
And,
just
yeah,
so
we didn't have-
serendipitous.
yeah, seriously. Because, when that first was happening, obviously the biggest stress was like, how are we going to pay for this?
Yeah.
Like,
That was
plumbing job of potentially that caliber.
Yeah.
Not in the budget. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, we had no idea. Like, we didn't even know how easy it was to get into the ceiling at that point.
That's
we thought
true,
that there
too.
was like drywall in the ceiling that we didn't know if it was in the ceiling or if it was in the wall. We were going to have to cut out drywall and like
There
fix
were
that
easy
too.
wood panels that I was able to move
Yeah.
and deconstruct really easily.
And because of it, we also located a couple of other problems that needed to be
Like what?
attended to. Like I found that mold under the sink that needed to be attended
Yeah,
to.
that's true, too.
And we also remembered to tell Dad about that slow little leak in the main water shutoff, and he's
True.
helping us get that fixed.
Right. So long story short,
Yeah.
without boring with the gross details of our personal problems.
Super fun home ownership things.
Point being that, again, like our home is one of our bodies.
Yes.
This is our shared body between you and me. Mm-hmm. It's speaking.
Right.
There are things that we need to attend to. Mm-hmm. And, I think that was honestly like a pretty graceful nudge from the universe. Like, we could have been really screwed over with a hefty bill.
Yeah.
And potential construction that we'd have to deal with the house, like locate, that could have happened anywhere in the plumbing network.
Right.
So, yeah, feeling grateful.
Yeah.
And, we just have to heed the call. We can't just hear it and ignore it.
Right. It was also good to know, like, how fun it could be. Like, I mean, it wasn't like so to speak, but like
drama's
that
fun,
there was like
I hate to
something
say it.
interesting happened, and we rose to the occasion with grace. For
the most part.
For
I'm sure a
most
few
part.
F-bombs were
Yeah, well,
let
for
out,
sure it's a
but
plumbing
you got
project,
to.
but something can happen that we necessarily wouldn't want to happen, but
we were able to handle it.
But we were able to handle it.
And it's good to know that about ourselves.
yeah.
That wasn't a huge deal in the long term or whatever in the big picture, but it's just a reminder in that sense that you do rise to the occasion. Like, the body wants to survive, you know. Obviously, I'm taking it to more of a grand scale, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do what you need to do in a urgent situation. And I think that when it comes to trying to realign different parts of our lives, like, I don't know, I almost feel like part of that is lighting some imaginary like fire under your belly and I don't know, it goes back to a quote I heard on the internet at one point, as far as imagining when you're in a comfortable situation, when you're in a comfortable context, imagining things being worse isn't motivating because you're comfortable.
Right.
So it kind of requires you to imagine how better things could be and being motivated by that excitement.
Yeah.
Kind of a different thing. Because it's not the adrenaline kicking in and that sort of motivation. It's a different type of motivation. Which kind of makes me think about the alcohol, like, I feel like that like adrenaline motivation or that dopamine motivation, like, it's fun. It's not sustainable. you know? So it's like, you know, there are other medicines that are more harmonious with the body that are motivating too, but maybe more on a serotonin level, you know, like psilocybin and things of that nature, or whatever else. I mean, I'm not, you know, trying to get into the brain chemistry and all that stuff. I don't know that much about all that, but you see what I'm getting?
I do.
Just as far as the energy.
Yeah.
Like one being like a stressful motivation, one being like a excited motivation.
Right.
So, yeah, finding what works, substituting things, having fun, experimenting.
Yeah.
Like that's part of what I resist a bit when it comes to doing life-changing things. Like
strict life-changing things, or like
even New Year's resolutions or full moon or new moon intentions, things like that. Or doing the reset that we planned last year. Mm-hmm. I sort of resist rigidity. Yeah. Which I've talked about before. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I think it's just a matter of like finding the fun. Mm-hmm. Finding the fun and exploring different things, trying things different. You know, not being like so attached. Mm-hmm. Clinging to a certain outcome or way that things have to be. You know?
I do.
So yeah, I'm thinking equinox. Does that feel like good?
Yeah.
Equinox or Aries season. I haven't checked the calendar or anything, but I'm thinking around then we're gonna actually celebrate the new year. Spend the rest of the winter in reflection and then vision to clarify what we want to bring, what seeds we want to plant now and in the spring. Mm-hmm. What things we want to sprout. What things are ready to bloom. I mean, it's not like we don't have things that aren't already sprouted in our lives. Right. We just need a little bit more water and some sunshine and some care and love and attention. Yeah. You know? And let it bloom. Mm-hmm. So, let's do that. Sounds like Kim's down to throw a party.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be nice. She's got a great space for a fire and stuff back there, and her deck is fantastic.
Definitely want to get some music going. Doesn't have to be like plugged in PA. Yeah. You know, Ryan's got his mobile kits. Mm-hmm. Multiple. Yeah. He can show some other people some of his techniques, get into a little bit of a drum circle type of vibe and some acoustic guitars. And
I think Kim's got the perfect spot for that.
For those New Year's.
I loved it.
I'm not going to be the guy to yell at these people 3 hours before midnight. Because I'm also about to be making a lot of noise, so I have no room to talk. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was hilarious. That was a good party, right?
It was. Yeah. It was a good party.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had fun.
Yeah. I had fun too. It was a good party. Yeah. And at first, I felt the pressure of being the host, and I wasn't super planning to be the host. Yeah. And I think all in all, it was just it was always what it wanted to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could have been more intentional about it, and that's why that's not why, but like the Equinox party. Mm-hmm. There's going to be more intention in that. Yeah. You know. Mm-hmm. I just thought it was a gathering of some homies. Yeah. That's it. We played some music. We had some good talks, some good times, some good hugs. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Also some survival instincts kicking in. Yeah. So Ryan bought some fireworks for his party. So that at his house. He's been swamped. Like, he's an insurance claims adjuster, so a lot of pipes freezing in the area. Yeah, lots of flooding. He's been, yeah. So he's been over his head with work and everything. And I guess what he did prepare was some fireworks. Yeah. I've never lit fireworks before. Like, I've watched your family do it. Uh-huh.
Way out in the yard.
Not even way out. That one time, that last 4th of July at your grandparents', that was not much further than we were.
It was quite a bit further, and he also had them up on a table on a level surface, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not that big a fan of fireworks, to be honest. I mean, they're cool. Lights in the sky.
Sure.
But
what's not cool is when they pop
exciting.
at you and send you running for your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ryan had a bad feeling about these fireworks from the
Yeah.
beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't on my radar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I had so many other. I was like, what are we gonna play at midnight?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, we need to have a good some good music after midnight, and we did.
Yeah.
And that was the saving grace. Honestly.
That was the saving grace. Yeah.
So it wasn't on my radar. It's time to do the thing. And Ryan comes and finds me. He's like, dude, I need you to light these. Like, I just don't feel good. I'm like, cool, give me the lighter. You know, I'm like, I'm not even going to listen to your fears about it. Like, let's just do it. Okay. You don't feel good about it. I'll do it. I don't feel bad about it. And then I'm walking and I wanted him to explain like where I'm lighting. I mean, I'm sure it was self-explanatory, but I've never done it.
It was also
I've
dark.
never done it. And,
yeah.
you know, they're explosives.
Right.
So to speak. So I run into our good buddy Zach, who we call the fire marshal. He's our fire guy. He's always building the best bonfires and cook fires, stove fires, and he just knows what he's doing when it comes to fire. I was like, dude, how do you do the thing? He's like, oh, I got you. And he went and did it. And it started going right away.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, we did the whole thing.
Like,
we're all
back,
making
dude.
noise and cheering, and then all of a sudden,
pew, pew,
yeah,
pew.
Yeah. Everybody's screaming, making a dive to get in the house.
I mean, we were on the wooden deck.
It came through the trees. It came straight at us.
Yeah,
like
we were on the wooden deck. It was like, I mean, it was a good 10, 15 feet from the deck.
It
but
needed
just
to
sitting
be
in the
like
grass.
at least 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The door to the house was right on the deck, of course.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, like people were saying, it could have hit the windows. If it hadn't been wet out, it could have caught the effing deck.
Yeah.
Like, again.
Yeah.
Fortunate situation on a unfortunate situation.
Yeah, a few of us got hit with like the little balls. We got a couple burns. I was wearing a blanket.
Burns? Like not significant.
Not like significant burns, like nothing like that.
Just
nobody caught on fire or anything. It was just like little, you know, like if you had like touched something too hot and you got a little red on your finger or something. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't like anything significant.
Yeah. So it happens in like, it's funny because I only remember like one frame of the memory, you know?
Oh,
because it happens so fast, right?
I just remember diving into the house. Somebody had already opened the door and I just dove through the door.
Immediately, the first one that came out, it hit you.
It hit me.
So
yeah, I think I probably
be going
took
inside after that too.
The brunt of it. I mean, everybody else got like one burn, and I had a blanket wrapped around me, and I had like
later on, I'm like, what's this
marks.
Like? Yeah,
it's
like,
there's
what's on
like
your
holes
blanket?
all over the blanket where
there's like
I got
how many?
hit.
12.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from my perspective, it went up, and then a couple came out, and I was like, okay, it looks like everyone's good. That was crazy. And I'm like, cool. And I keep watching. I'm like, surely that was a fluke. And it happened again, and I was like, I guess we should run. I look over, like, everyone's already inside. Like, I was one of the last, you know. It wasn't really like no one else was outside, but
yeah, no, I was like standing like right at the railing, like at the
to begin with.
Yeah, to begin with, I'm like watching it like front and center. I've got my little drum, and I was like, and I was like, oh shit.
I thought you meant the ramp railing, which is right next to the door.
No, not that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard Nicholas got hit and Sonny.
Yeah.
And I thought they were the only ones.
Yeah.
And Sonny was definitely shook. Nicholas seemed like, you know, definitely in shock
shook
like
in
the rest of us. Huh?
Yeah. Nicholas seemed like he like kind of liked it a little bit.
We'll have him comment on that. I don't know. I can't speak on that one. I thought he looked like in shock like the rest of us, but not like he wasn't freaked out.
No, yeah, he didn't seem like freaked out.
Someone left the door. I guess I was the last one in. And the door was still open and just filling with smoke. So shut the door, make sure everyone's okay. And like, then I see Ryan's kind of like beelining towards the front door just to go back outside and like collect his thoughts. And a couple people went out there, and you and Nicholas and Sonny, basically everyone that got the most traumatized. Other than maybe Drea, who her daughter was there. Thank God didn't get hit.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh my gosh, I would have felt so bad.
Yeah. She seemed probably, other
She
than
was so
me,
chill.
the least phased. Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. Definitely a blast of a start to the year.
Yeah, definitely a blast.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not even going to look at it like paranoid or anything.
No, I'm not
like,
either. I mean, honestly, like, probably the most alive I've felt in a long time.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, it kind of felt a little bit like just that universal nudge of like, I don't know what on this particular case. I don't know what the lesson was on that, but you know, just like look alive and be ready to survive, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe next time you play with fireworks, make sure that it's far enough away.
I mean, yeah. The practical lesson is maybe just like, don't fuck with fireworks. I'm not hating on them.
No.
They're just, I would never buy them or light them.
No.
But that's just me. I don't, yeah. Anyway, with those thoughts in mind.
Yeah. Well, and then you guys hopped up and had a really great set. And
Yeah.
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 It really brought people back. I mean, there were some people that pieced after that.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a few people had pieced beforehand.
Yeah.
Which I guess was in their own best interest. I haven't told anyone yet.
Yeah.
This is the first time we've really talked about it other than the night of.
Right.
But yeah. I guess now I can just send people the podcast. If you want to know the crazy things you missed out on after you left.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people were spooked, understandably. And we made some music, did some new covers we've been cooking up, and a couple originals, and it was short and sweet for the most part. I mean, they were jammy, but just 4 songs or so, and then just kind of wind down from there.
Yeah, we all got to dance it out a little bit, you know, get that adrenaline out of the body.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, if you're hungover, dance it out. Shake it out of your body. I mean, seriously, like,
No, seriously.
hydrating, just like overhydrating, flush it out. Flush out those hormones and fear and stress.
Totally.
You know? I mean, what is stress? Like, what are these emotions? Like, they do have chemical components to them, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like they're not just magical, airy, like, oh, I'm feeling an emotion. Like, no, your body is processing its nervous system, and the felt subjective experience is called emotion. But like, there's hormones involved, you know, right? There's hormones and neurochemicals and stuff that are feeding you these experiences and feelings in a way of orienting yourself in your moment, you know? And that's why different people have different triggers, because we have different traumas.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, so it's just your body like trying to protect itself and setting up buffers. Like if you're angry, that's a sort of like aggressive buffer. If you're sad, that's a sort of like withdrawn buffer, you know? Protective. More of the freeze, less of the fight, you know? But they're all protective defense mechanisms. So gotta dance that shit out, work it out, flush it out, move it out, sing it out, whatever you gotta do, paint it out.
Sure.
Whatever you got. It's fun. We have so many options of ways of expressing. And it's a game of creativity. Infinite canvas, and like, if no crazy things ever happened, we'd be bored. Like, we're here to experience. We're here to have some fun and fulfillment of creating some fun. Creating fun is fulfilling. And that's why I get so nervous about hosting parties and stuff, when it's like more than just like 5 of my closest homies, you know what I mean? If it's to that level, then it feels more like organic, everyone's on the same page. But when it's a party, then it's like, I feel responsible for everyone having a good time. Even though I understand that in the grand scheme, that's insane. And not actually my responsibility, but there is more responsibility. There is more like, you know,
Yeah.
whatever. And there's certain people who, whether they're hosting or not, they're going to arrive to any social moment and be the host. You know what I mean? They're going to do their thing and make sure they have a good time, and, you know. But I think a lot of the people that we like sort of gravitate a little bit more closely, you know, our close friends, I feel like a lot of us are more introverted, like passive, receptive type of energies, you know, which is, I definitely have been that for most of my social years, you know, or just like kind of let the extroverts lead the way.
Right. I've always been like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess I'm just coming into my extroverted season.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you wanted to highlight from the conversation? Anything else that you wanted to bring up?
Well, from our spring reset, a big part of it was a social reset as well. And a way that I could see that being super beneficial in 2023 is like project accountability buddies.
Yeah, we talked about that.
We did talk about that
Briefly recently. Apparently you've mentioned it to me before.
I have mentioned it to you before, and it's a fucking great idea.
But I thought it was a effing great idea.
It's a great idea. You know, we have other friends that are on the same wavelength
Your
and
brother,
trajectory.
our
My
buddy
brother,
Nick,
yeah,
etc.
you know, it's more fun to do things with friends, and things go so much faster when you have so many more sets of hands. You know, we help them do things; they help us do things.
Like we had our friends over to help us do weeding in the garden a couple years ago. That was a lot of fun.
That was nice.
I think people enjoyed that.
Yeah,
We
totally
could have
do
been
that.
a little bit more organized in it.
Yeah,
For sure. But not a ton.
no,
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, it's just fun to do things with friends. And other people have different skills and different tools.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Mutual aid type stuff. Like we don't all need a chainsaw,
yeah,
you know? That type of thing. Cool. Yeah. I mean, I think we did do some social forward momentum, like I mentioned earlier. But yeah, I mean, we didn't like completely get off like social media in the way that we wanted to detox from that. You know?
I am getting off Facebook.
That's
I was
good.
off for so
Facebook's
much
trash.
last year, and it was
Yeah.
so much better. And I don't know, it's like events, you know. I like to get on Facebook to be able to see what's going on in the city.
Yeah, I get it. I
It's
get it.
Not enough.
But you know, that's the nice thing is that you can just deactivate it and you can reactivate it anytime you want to utilize that.
Yeah.
But we can also just start investing into the subculture of throwing our own events and, you know, connecting with people word of mouth and
Right.
like one-on-one and smaller groups. Like, hey, I mean, gosh, how many group chats are we a part of?
Right.
You know, I mean, you're not going to get rid of Messenger, right?
No. Yeah. It is nice that you can deactivate and still utilize Messenger.
Yeah.
That is really
It
nice.
is nice. Yeah. Because they got us. They got us hooked. So many different levels. Yeah.
Are you looking at my cheese sticks?
Yeah. Have they been there the whole time? I thought you were gonna like put them right here
Oh,
or something.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you were gonna like come in and have them like visible. You're hiding them. Don't be ashamed of your mozzarella sticks that got made in between the last cut and this one. Yeah, and then you were also talking about just like setting a boundary with alcohol in
Yeah.
the upcoming year, and that feels good for you.
It does feel good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about it.
Right. Yeah, the mindset is definitely key in that way.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it helps to do dry till July. Like it's just an easier mindset. It's easier to get committed to a smaller bite,
Yeah.
you know? And what it's probably going to end up being is we get to July and either decide to keep going or just drink at shows,
Right.
which is basically what this last year was. But yeah, I think like the holiday season being in the latter half of the year, that it might be nice to do that dry because we never have,
Right.
you know, within our relationship.
Right.
You know, I haven't my life.
Right.
I can't
In my
speak for
childhood.
you. Yeah. When did you start partaking in your family's holiday alcohol drinkery? The holiday drinkery.
Probably not until like very late teens, like 19, 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think I would have like a glass of wine at dinner, like starting
When you're like 19. Oh, 16 and
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, that's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
because I
not
thought
like-
you had said that,
not like
that's
playing games and drinking beer and stuff like we do
Yeah.
now, you know,
Yeah.
Like, not like that, but like
Yeah.
when I was younger, I would
Yeah,
be
gotcha.
allowed to have
That's what I
like
meant.
one glass of wine with dinner.
I see. Yeah. Because I remember you mentioning that your parents were cool with you having like wine at dinner and stuff like that before, well, like when you were a teenager and stuff.
Right. No like free
I wasn't
refills
sure
or anything.
like how young you were. No free refills, right? Yeah, you got to pay up with that. You got to pay up with your time.
Right.
When you're 21, you've done your dues.
Right.
Cool. Anything else you want to mention?
No.
Feel complete.
Feel complete.
Happy 2023, babe. You're a sweet babe. And your sweet babes out there.
I can take my pizza.